Okay, my name is Matt Canfield. I'm an associate professor at Leiden University in the Netherlands, and I work closely with BIBA Kenya and AFSA to do research on data justice for food sovereignty and agroecology. There's lots of laws and policies that are shaping the digitalization of African food systems. I think one of the most important set of policies are those that are encouraging digitalization. So at the AU level, for example, you have the AU digitalization implementation strategy for digital agriculture. But individual countries also have their own strategies for promoting digital technologies. And a lot of those different policies are about promoting things like e-incentive systems that require a lot of data collection on the part of government, and then the rolling out of different kinds of digital systems for providing subsidies for different kinds of products. Those are really at the baseline of a lot of the policies, but they're also being framed by, importantly, policies and laws around data privacy. There's an AU law on cybersecurity and data privacy, but right now that's only been taken up by about 15 countries. About a little over 30 countries out of 55 countries in Africa have their own data privacy laws. And those about 16 have independent data privacy commissions. So data privacy is really important as well. But one of the things that's really important, of course, is that in the context of agriculture, data privacy is actually not enough, because a lot of agricultural data blurs the boundaries between what's private and what's called non-personal. For example, any data that involves land is involving people and can be identified to them. So there's really this really big question about what kind of laws and policies are appropriate for agricultural data. And I think that's what's being discussed here at this gathering. Legal frameworks play a big role. One of the most important roles that they play right now is by supporting innovation that allows the capture of data. Right now, one of the biggest problems that we're seeing in terms of how digitalization is enabling further corporate concentration and control is because all agricultural data is mostly classified as non-personal. And what that means is that companies can freely collect as much data. And they have de facto ownership of that data because of these gaps that we're seeing in current legal frameworks. So a lot of the ways that legal frameworks are working is to facilitate private sector-led innovation. And one of the things that I think we're discussing here is the need for both grassroots level innovation, but also policies and laws that support grassroots and farmer-led innovation, that support ensuring that farmers have the ability to control their data, but also to support things like open source technologies, technology sovereignty, and importantly, public sector-led innovation, which can be really important for actually fulfilling the needs of African farmers and food chain workers and fisherfolk and women. We also really, I think is very important, is ensuring that as food systems become more digitalized, it's important that it's actually an equitable digitalization. So making sure that, for example, young people and women and other marginalized communities actually have access to the benefits of digitalization, and those kinds of policies are really important and needed. This is a huge area of development right now. There's almost what we would say is terra nullius. It's a free range for a lot of agricultural data. And that's the thing that is the big problem right now in terms of how the digitalization of agriculture in African food systems is enabling really this corporate capture. And so there's huge gaps in terms of thinking about farmer control over data. And there's huge gaps in terms of thinking about questions about the sustainability implications of moving towards AI systems. And of course, big questions that are always important about control of land and seeds that really need to be at the front and center of how we're thinking about the digitalization of food systems.